Obama became the first president to be born in Hawaii when he was born on August 4, 1961, at what is now known as Kapiolani Medical Center for Women and Children in Honolulu, Hawaii. His mother, Stanley Ann Dunham, is of English ancestry and was born in Wichita, Kansas. Barack Obama, Sr., his father, was a native of the Luo tribe of Nyang'oma Kogelo, Kenya. In 1960, while his father was a student at the University of Hawaii at Manoa on a foreign scholarship, Obama's parents met in a Russian language class. The couple was divorced when Obama's mother relocated to Seattle, Washington, in late August 1961 to enroll in the University of Washington for a year. The two were married on February 2, 1961. In Wailuku, Maui. Obama Sr. finished his undergraduate studies in economics in Hawaii in June 1962, and on a scholarship, he continued on to the master's program at Harvard University. In March 1964, Obama's parents split. Obama Sr. only made one trip to see Barack in Hawaii, in 1971. After returning to Kenya in 1964, he remarried. In 1982, he was killed in a car accident. Dunham met Lolo Sutara, an Indonesian East-West Center student enrolled in a master's program in geography at the University of Hawaii, in 1963. They got hitched on March 15, 1965, in Molokai. In 1966, Lolo returned to Indonesia after having her J-1 visa extended for an additional 2 years. His wife and stepson followed 16 months later in 1967. At first, they made their home at Menteng Dalam, Tebet, Jakarta South.
So we moved to Menteng Dalam, where, hey, some folks from Menteng Dalam right here. And we lived in a small house. We had a mango tree out front.
In 1970, relocated to an affluent neighborhood in Menteng, central Jakarta. Obama attended St. Catholic School from the age of 6 to 10. Franciscus from Assisi attended Basuki Elementary School for 1.5 years, Franciscus from Assisi for 2 years, and he also received home education assistance from Calvert School. Obama moved back to Honolulu in 1971 to live with Madeline and Stanley Dunham, the parents of his mother. With the aid of a scholarship, Obama attended Punahou Institution, a college preparatory school, from 5th grade until he graduated in 1979. Between 1972 through 1975, Obama's mother and her sister resided in Hawaii as her mother pursued a master's degree in anthropology at the University of Hawaii. In 1975, Obama's mother and sister left for Indonesia to conduct anthropological study, but he opted to stay in Hawaii with his grandparents so that he could attend Punahou School. Her mother lived in Indonesia for nearly 2 decades, was divorced from Lolo in 1980, received her PhD in 1992, and passed away in Hawaii in 1995 after receiving treatment for ovarian and uterine cancer. Obama reflects on his upbringing, saying, that my father was not like the people around me. He was black as tar, my mother was white as milk hardly occurred to me. He then goes on to discuss his struggles as a young adult trying to bring together various social perspectives on his multiracial heritage. Obama wrote and spoke about using alcohol, marijuana, and cocaine when he was younger to take the question of who I am from my mind and about growing up in Hawaii, saying, "The opportunity that Hawaii offers to experience a wide variety of cultures in an atmosphere of mutual respect is an integral part of my worldview, as well as the foundation of the values I hold dear." Obama belonged to the Chum Gang, a social circle of pals who frequently smoked marijuana. In 2008, at the Civil Forum on the Presidency, Obama expressed sorrow for doing drugs while he was a high school student. Obama relocated to Los Angeles in 1979 after graduating from high school to attend Occidental College. He made his first public address in February 1981, pleading with Occidental to leave South Africa in protest of its policies of apartheid. Midway through 1981, Obama traveled to Indonesia to see his mother and sister, Maya, before spending 3 weeks visiting the families of his college buddies in Pakistan and India. Later, in 1981, he relocated to Columbia University in New York City, where he graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and International Relations in 1983. Obama is the sole representative of the Congressional Black Caucus in the Senate and was sworn into office on January 3, 2005. Based on a review of all Senate votes from 2005 to 2007, CQ Weekly refers to him as a reliable Democrat. Obama declared on November 13, 2008, that he would leave the Senate before the start of the lame duck session, effective November 16, 2008, in order to concentrate on his transition to the White House. Obama announced his presidential bid on February 10, 2007, in Springfield, Illinois, in front of the old state Capitol building.
It was here where we learned to disagree without being disagreeable. That it's possible to compromise so long as you know those principles that can never be compromised. And that so long as we're willing to listen to each other, we can assume the best in people instead of the worst. It's why we were able to reform a death penalty system that was broken. That's why we were able to give health insurance to children in need. That's why we made the tax system right here in Springfield more fair and just for working families. And that's why we passed ethics reform that the cynics said could never, ever be passed. It was here in Springfield, where North, South, East, and West come together, that I was reminded of the essential decency of the American people, where I came to believe that through this decency, we can build a more hopeful America. And that is why, in the shadow of the old state capitol, where Lincoln once called on a house divided to stand together, where common hopes and common dreams still live, I stand before you today to announce my candidacy for President of the United States of America.
Because it was the site of Abraham Lincoln's famous house divided address in 1858, the location for the announcement was considered as meaningful. In a campaign with the overarching theme of hope, Obama focused on the need to swiftly end the Iraq War, increase energy freedom, and provide universal health care. Also changing.
America, it is time to start bringing our troops home. It's time to admit that no amount of American lives can resolve the political disagreement that lies at the heart of someone else's civil war. That's why I have a plan that will bring our combat troops home by March of 2008. Let the Iraqis know. Letting the Iraqis know that we will not be there forever is our last best hope to pressure the Sunni and Shia to come to the table and find peace.
Both candidates took part in 3 presidential debates in September and October 2008. John McCain was the Republican nominee. On November 4, Obama defeated McCain with 365 electoral votes to 173 electoral votes. McCain received 45.7% of the popular vote against Obama's 52.9%. He was elected president for the first time by African Americans. In front of tens of thousands of fans in Chicago's Grant Park, Obama gave his victory address.
But above all, I will never forget who this victory truly belongs to. It belongs to you. I was never the likeliest candidate for this office. Senator McCain fought long and hard in this campaign, and he's fought even longer and harder for the country that he loves. We know the challenges that tomorrow will bring are the greatest of our lifetime. 2 wars, a planet in peril, the worst financial crisis in a century. The road ahead will be long. Our climb will be steep. We may not get there in 1 year or even in 1 term. But America, I have never been more hopeful than I am tonight that we will get there. I promise you, we as a people will get there.
The 44th President, Barack Obama, was sworn in on January 20, 2009. He issued an order to close the Guantanamo Bay prison, but Congress blocked it by refusing to release the monies required. President Barack Obama made a state visit to Indonesia in 2010 during the administration of President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. This visit is considered an important part for Obama to continue closer cooperation and is needed to improve security and prosperity for both countries. President Barack Obama gave a public lecture at the University of Indonesia. Obama considers Indonesia a part of him because he has lived in Indonesia.
Pulang kampung nih. Indonesia bagian dari diri saya. I first came to this country when my mother married an Indonesian named Lolo Sutoro. And as a young boy, I was coming to a different world. But the people of Indonesia quickly made me feel at home.
In his childhood while living in Indonesia, there are foods that are still remembered, namely satay and meatballs.
And I learned to love Indonesia while flying kites and running along the paddy fields and catching dragonflies, buying satay and bakso from the street vendors. I still remember the call of the vendors. Satay. Yeah. I remember that. Bakso. Enak, yeah?
Obama declared that military operations in Iraq would conclude in 18 months on February 27, 2009. He was speaking to a squad of Marines who would soon be deployed to Afghanistan. The Obama administration anticipates the withdrawal of combat troops to be finished by August 2010, lowering the number of soldiers from 142,000 to a transitional force of 50,000 in Iraq by late 2011. The last U.S. combat battalion left Iraq on August 19, 2010. Combat activities were moved from the remaining troops to counterterrorism and the equipping, training, and instruction of the Iraqi security forces. Obama declared that the United States combat mission in Iraq had come to an end on August 31, 2010. On October 21, 2011, Obama declared that all American troops would depart Iraq in time to travel home for the Christmas season. Obama announced his 2012 re-election bid in a video titled "It Begins With Us" on his website on April 4, 2011. And he also submitted election paperwork to the Federal Election Commission. Obama had essentially no challengers in the Democratic presidential primaries because he was the incumbent president. Barack Obama, the incumbent presidential candidate, was finally re-elected in the U.S. presidential election after a close race. Mitt Romney, who had performed well in the Electoral College votes, has now lost to Obama. Mitt Romney, who had performed well in the Electoral College votes, has now lost to Obama.